This is Mr. Clawhammer. Let's see if he can back a book. While I've had a bit of fun with this video, it is a real question. How do people starting out in bookbinding deal with the lack of equipment? The usual answer is to make do. Make your own equipment such as presses, sewing frames, etc. But there's normally a point where it's difficult to make do. Backing or putting the shoulders on a book after it's been rounded is one of those points where it's difficult to get by without real equipment. How do you back a book without wedge-shaped backing boards and some sort of press, a lying press, a finishing press on legs as the dryad presses are often called? You need something to hold the book in place between the boards and some way, something to hammer the spine of the book against to form those shoulders. When I first started out, I had a homemade press, and for backing boards I just had straight sided boards and I planed a bevel back on the edges of the boards. So I thought, well, how far can I take this? Can I get by without the press? Can I use wood clamps? I'll use bricks for supports. So let's see how I go. So one of the tricks is that the clamps are high up near the spine of the book. So it's putting preferential pressure up near the shoulders, where the shoulders are going to be. And when I do the clamps up, you'll see the book start to back itself. So it's putting the pressure on just like the wedge-shaped boards would. You can see how it's spreading out, starting the backing process by itself. In this shot, you can see beautifully how the lack of thread inside the sections at the head and tail means that there's no real swell at the head and tail, and thus the points where you can actually see the backing are the most difficult points to back. So you don't start the backing at the head and tail. I always start about a third of the way down, usually just near the tapes. The cameraman's done a shocking job again. Now I should point out that I have stacked the deck in my favour. I've used a fairly thick thread so that I've got maximum swell, so I went out to almost 30% of the thickness of the textbook for the swell, and that swell is why that book almost started to back itself when I did up the clamps. But because of that swell, I needed larger shoulders, so these shoulders are a good 3.5 millimeters. So the shoulders are going to determine the board thickness. So this isn't fine binding, obviously. So I'm going to use 3mm boards on this. Now, because the hammer doesn't have a rounded face, it's very easy to dig in the edge of the face into the book, which I did numerous times, and it really dings up the boards, but they're just cheap boards, so I guess it doesn't really matter. As long as you don't ding up the corner where it forms the shoulders, then the boards can be reused regardless of the dings on the top. So it's not a perfect result, but I think that's an acceptable result, as long as you don't mind large shoulders resulting in thick boards. Now I'm going to caution against using this method for backing your first book. This is really for someone that's done a course and has successfully backed a book in the past. They know that they can do it and they want to keep bookbinding but don't have the equipment yet and just want to move on to that second book by themselves. I think this is a feasible approach. Something I keep forgetting to point out is when I'm hammering the book, I'm not hammering into the book. I'm not hammering towards the center of the book. I'm hammering with glancing blows, sort of trying to drag those sections away from the center line of the book. So that's it for the bonus video for this week. The real video will be out in a couple of days. As always, if you want to be notified of my future videos, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, cheerio.